to legends arisen, where history breathes and greatness echoes through time. Do you know how a city of just a few thousand people grew to rule much of the known world? Rome's journey from a republic to a powerful empire is full of dramatic battles, political intrigue, and bold leaders. But what caused this transformation, and what lessons does it hold for us today? Let's uncover the story of Rome's rise, its struggles, and the legacy it left behind. Before emperors, legions, and conquests, there was a vision, a city built on principles of liberty and shared power. In 509 BCE, Rome cast off its monarchy and established the Roman Republic. It was radical for its time. Power wasn't in the hands of a king, but split between elected officials, the consuls, and a senate of patricians. The Republic was born from a rebellion against tyranny, and its core was the belief that no single man should hold unchecked power. But this idealistic beginning was also a battleground of class. The plebeians, Rome's working citizens, were often sidelined by the aristocracy. This tension led to reforms, like the creation of the tribune of the plebs, that allowed the common people a voice in politics. Rome's early republic laid the foundation for a system that balanced ambition with accountability, and in doing so shaped a model of governance that would echo for centuries. Yet within this structure also lay the seeds of future turmoil as ambition and rivalry began to stir. From its modest beginnings, Rome's republic soon transformed into a formidable power, fueled by a relentless drive to expand its borders. The Roman legions, disciplined and innovative, became the backbone of this growth. Their military tactics combined flexibility with brute force, allowing Rome to conquer neighboring territories in Italy and beyond. But Rome's rise was not just about battles, it was also about politics. Roman leaders used alliances, citizenship offers, and strategic marriages to bind conquered peoples to Rome's cause, turning foes into allies. This expansion brought wealth and influence, but also new challenges. Governing distant lands meant balancing local customs with Roman laws, often sparking unrest. Moreover, as generals gained fame and loyalty from their armies, the political landscape shifted. The military's growing role in politics planted the early roots of power struggles that would later shake the Republic's foundations. Rome was no longer just a city-state. It was evolving into an empire in all but name, propelled by its ambition and military might. As Rome expanded, its internal social divisions grew sharper. The patricians, the elite aristocratic class, continued to dominate political offices and control wealth. Meanwhile, the plebeians, ordinary farmers, artisans, and soldiers, found themselves increasingly frustrated by their lack of political power and economic security. This growing inequality led to a series of social conflicts known as the conflict of the orders, a struggle that spanned centuries as the plebeians fought for greater rights and protections within the Republic. Through persistent protests and political maneuvering, the plebeians gradually won significant concessions, including the right to elect their own representatives, the tribunes of the plebs, who had the power to veto unfair laws. The 12 Tables, Rome's first codified laws, also emerged from this period, providing a more transparent legal system. Yet despite these victories, tensions between classes remained a constant challenge, revealing that Rome's republic was as much a contest of social power as it was a political experiment. As Rome's territories grew vast, so did the influence of its military commanders. Generals like Marius, Sulla, and later Julius Caesar commanded not just armies, but also loyalty that often rivaled the state itself. Their victories brought them fame, wealth, and political power, blurring the lines between military leadership and political authority. This shift challenged the Republic's core principle of shared governance, as generals used their armies to intimidate rivals and seize control. The Republic's institutions struggled to contain this new concentration of power. Civil wars erupted, pitting generals and their supporters against one another, tearing the Republic apart from within. Julius Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon River in 49 BCE marked a pivotal moment, an irreversible step toward dictatorship. Though Caesar declared himself dictator for life, his assassination in 44 BCE only intensified the chaos, signaling the Republic's imminent collapse and the dawn of imperial Rome. After years of civil war and turmoil, Rome found stability under the leadership of Octavian, later known as Augustus. He cleverly balanced tradition with innovation, presenting himself not as a king but as the princeps, or first citizen, while holding ultimate power behind the scenes. Augustus's reign marked the official end of the Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire, ushering in a period of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana. Augustus reformed the government, military, and infrastructure, creating a centralized system that could govern the sprawling empire efficiently. His rule set the blueprint for future emperors, blending autocracy with republican imagery to maintain public support. The empire's new order allowed Rome to thrive for centuries, but it also marked the end of the political ideals that once defined the Republic. A reminder that great power often demands difficult trade-offs. Rome's empire was more than just military conquest. It was a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and innovations that shaped the ancient world and beyond. Roman law, with its emphasis on justice and citizenship, laid the foundation for many modern legal systems. Architecture and engineering marvels like aqueducts, roads, and amphitheaters showcased Rome's ingenuity and commitment to public life. Latin, the language of Rome, became the root of many modern languages and a unifying force across vast territories. The cultural legacy of Rome endured long after its political power faded. Its ideas about governance, law, and society influenced the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and the foundations of Western civilization. Rome's empire was not just a chapter in history, it was a cornerstone that continues to impact the world today, reminding us of the enduring power of ideas forged in a city that began as a humble republic. Despite its grandeur, the Roman Empire faced mounting challenges over the centuries. Political corruption, economic troubles, and military overstretch weakened its foundations. The division of the empire into eastern and western halves in the late 3rd century CE was meant to make governance easier, but ultimately highlighted its vulnerabilities. External pressures from invading tribes such as the Visigoths and Vandals further strained the empire's resources. The Western Roman Empire fell in 476 CE, marking the end of ancient Rome's political dominance. Yet, the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, preserved Roman traditions and power for nearly 1,000 more years. Rome's fall was not just a collapse, but a transformation, passing its legacy to new civilizations that would carry its influence forward in different forms. Though the Roman Empire fell centuries ago, its legacy continues to resonate throughout modern society. Concepts of republicanism, legal systems, architecture, and engineering all trace their roots back to Rome's innovations. The idea of citizenship, civic duty, and governance inspired the founding principles of many modern democracies around the world. Even today, Rome's ruins stand as monuments to a civilization that shaped the course of history. Beyond politics and law, Rome's cultural contributions influence art, language, literature, and philosophy. From the Renaissance to the present, scholars and leaders have looked to Rome for lessons in leadership, resilience, and vision. The story of Rome reminds us that while empires rise and fall, the ideas they leave behind can shape humanity's future for millennia. The rise and fall of Rome teaches us that power, ambition, and governance are deeply intertwined, and that no system is perfect. From republic to empire, Rome's journey shaped the foundations of Western civilization and left a legacy that echoes through history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into Rome's epic story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more fascinating history from Legends Arisen.